Have you ever heard someone say, "Why are we spending money on space when there are so many problems here on Earth?" It's a fair question. In fact, it's a question people have been asking for decades. When you look around the world today, global health crises, poverty, climate change, social inequality, it can feel almost strange that humanity is launching rockets, building space telescopes, and sending probes millions or even billions of miles away. At first glance, space exploration can seem like a luxury. Something exciting, yes, but maybe not essential. Something inspiring, but maybe not urgent. So the real question becomes this: is space exploration actually worth it? Because if we're going to spend time, money, and human effort reaching for the stars, it better matter. It better have real value, not just for scientists, not just for astronauts, but for all of us here on Earth. And when you look closely at the facts, something fascinating becomes clear. Space exploration is not a distraction from solving Earth's problems. In many ways, it's part of the solution. Let's start with one of the biggest misconceptions people have about space programs: the cost. If you ask people on the street how much of the United States federal budget goes to NASA, the answers are usually shocking. Many people guess 10%. Some even say 20 or 25%. But the reality?
NASA's budget is roughly half of 1% of the total U.S. federal budget. That's about 0.5%. In other words, for every $100 the government spends, about 50 cents goes to space exploration. And it's not just the United States. Most countries that run space programs, whether it's Europe, India, Japan, or others, spend an even smaller percentage of their national budgets on space research. So the idea that space exploration is draining the world's financial resources simply isn't true. In fact, something quite interesting happens when governments invest in space. That money doesn't just disappear into rockets and satellites. It flows through the economy. It creates jobs, highly skilled jobs, engineers, technicians, scientists, programmers, researchers, manufacturers, designers, and many others. Entire industries grow around space technology. New companies are born. Innovation spreads into fields that have nothing to do with rockets or astronauts. And that economic activity generates something extremely important: more wealth.
Which means more tax revenue, which means more funding available for healthcare, education, infrastructure, and social programs. So instead of competing with efforts to improve life on Earth, space programs often help strengthen the economic systems that support those efforts. But the economic impact is only part of the story, because the technologies developed for space exploration often end up transforming everyday life on Earth. Think about this for a moment. The challenge of surviving in space is incredibly extreme. There's no air, no natural protection from radiation, massive temperature swings, and total isolation. Solving these problems requires innovation, and many of those innovations end up benefiting people here on Earth. For example, satellite technology, originally developed for space missions, now powers GPS navigation, global communications, weather forecasting, disaster monitoring, and internet services used by billions of people every day. Without satellites, modern life would look very different. Weather prediction would be far less accurate. Farmers wouldn't have the same tools to monitor crops. Emergency responders would struggle to track hurricanes, wildfires, and floods. Even your smartphone navigation relies on space technology. Medical advancements are another area where space research has made a huge impact. Experiments conducted in microgravity, especially on the International Space Station, allow scientists to study the human body in ways that simply aren't possible on Earth.
Without gravity constantly pulling on everything, cells behave differently, fluids move differently, biological systems reveal new patterns. These experiments have helped researchers study osteoporosis, muscle degeneration, heart disease, and immune system behavior. The insights gained in orbit often lead to new treatments, new medical devices, and new strategies for protecting human health. In some cases, technologies originally designed for astronauts, like advanced imaging systems or portable medical monitors, have been adapted for hospitals and emergency care on Earth. So the benefits are very real. But space research also helps us tackle one of the biggest challenges humanity faces today: climate change. Satellites orbiting Earth constantly monitor our planet. They track atmospheric temperatures, ocean currents, melting ice caps, deforestation, greenhouse gas levels, and countless other environmental indicators. Without these space-based instruments, our understanding of climate systems would be far more limited. Satellites give scientists a global view of what's happening to our planet. They help governments make informed decisions. They help researchers predict future environmental changes. And they help the world respond more effectively to natural disasters. When a hurricane forms in the ocean, satellites watch its development in real time. When wildfires spread across forests, satellites map the damage and help coordinate emergency responses. When glaciers melt or sea levels rise, satellites measure those changes with incredible precision. So space technology isn't just about exploring distant planets, it's also about understanding and protecting the one planet we already have.
But the connection between space exploration and Earth's future goes even deeper. Consider agriculture. Feeding the world's growing population is one of the most pressing challenges of the 21st century. Scientists studying how plants grow in space are discovering new techniques for farming in extreme conditions. On spacecraft or future Mars missions, astronauts must grow food using minimal water, limited soil, and controlled environments. The solutions developed for those conditions can be applied here on Earth. Vertical farming systems, hydroponics, efficient water recycling, climate-resistant crops. These innovations could help farmers grow food in deserts, drought-prone regions, or areas heavily affected by climate change. In other words, figuring out how to grow food on Mars might help us feed people on Earth. But there's another reason space exploration matters, one that often gets overlooked: planetary defense. It may sound like science fiction, but the threat of asteroid impacts is very real. Throughout Earth's history, asteroids and comets have collided with our planet. Some impacts have caused massive environmental changes. In fact, the asteroid impact that occurred about 66 million years ago is widely believed to have played a major role in the extinction of the dinosaurs. Today, we have the ability to detect many near-Earth objects before they reach us. Telescopes and space observatories scan the sky, searching for asteroids whose orbits cross Earth's path. By studying these objects, scientists can calculate potential risks years or even decades in advance. And thanks to space missions designed specifically for planetary defense, we are beginning to learn how to change an asteroid's trajectory if necessary. In 2022, a spacecraft intentionally collided with an asteroid to test whether humanity could slightly alter its orbit. The experiment worked. That small success represents something extraordinary. For the first time in history, humanity has begun developing the ability to protect our planet from cosmic threats. But beyond all these practical benefits, space exploration offers something harder to measure, yet equally important: perspective. When astronauts look down at Earth from orbit, they often describe a powerful experience known as the overview effect. From space, there are no borders, no political divisions, no visible conflicts, just one beautiful blue planet floating in the darkness of space. A fragile world with a thin atmosphere, surrounded by an enormous universe. That view changes how people think about Earth. It reminds us that our planet is rare, precious, and worth protecting. Studying other planets reinforces this idea. When scientists explore places like Mars, Venus, or distant moons, they see worlds that are either frozen deserts, scorching wastelands, or lifeless landscapes. Compared to those environments, Earth is incredibly special. A vibrant oasis filled with oceans, forests, life, and breathable care. Understanding how rare and delicate that balance is can strengthen our commitment to preserving it. And then there's inspiration. Perhaps one of the most powerful and often underestimated benefits of space exploration is the way it inspires people. When a rocket launches, millions of people watch. When a rover lands on Mars, children around the world imagine themselves becoming scientists or engineers. Space missions capture the human imagination in a unique way. They remind us that exploration is part of who we are. For thousands of years, humans have crossed oceans, climbed mountains, and ventured into unknown territories. Space is simply the next frontier. And that sense of possibility motivates young people to study science, technology, engineering, medicine, and countless other fields. Many of the students inspired by space missions will never work at a space agency, but they will become doctors, engineers, researchers, entrepreneurs, innovators who solve problems that shape the future of our world. And inspiration can ripple through generations. Think about the first moon landing in 1969. Millions of children watched humans walk on another world. Many of those children later became scientists and engineers themselves. Some of them designed the spacecraft we use today. Others developed technologies that have nothing to do with space, but still improved everyday life. Inspiration fuels progress, and space exploration provides inspiration on a global scale. There's also a deeper philosophical aspect to exploring the universe. For centuries, humanity has asked questions about our place in the cosmos. Are we alone? Is life common in the universe, or is Earth a rare exception? These questions aren't just scientific, they're deeply human. When we send probes to distant planets or analyze the atmospheres of faraway worlds, we're searching for answers to questions that have fascinated people for generations. Discovering life beyond Earth, whether it's microbial organisms on another planet or signs of biology on a distant moon, would change our understanding of life itself. It would reshape science, philosophy, and perhaps even how we see ourselves as a species. And even if we never find extraterrestrial life, the search itself expands our knowledge. Every mission teaches us something new about physics, chemistry, planetary science, and the origins of our solar system. Each discovery adds another piece to the puzzle of how the universe works. Of course, none of this means the problems on Earth are unimportant. Quite the opposite. The challenges facing humanity today, poverty, climate change, inequality, conflict, are serious and urgent. They deserve attention, resources, and global cooperation. But addressing those challenges doesn't require abandoning exploration. Humanity has always been capable of pursuing multiple goals at once. We can improve life on Earth while also reaching beyond it. We can invest in healthcare, education, and social progress while continuing to expand our scientific horizons. In fact, these efforts often reinforce each other. The technologies developed for space exploration help us monitor our planet, protect the environment, improve medical care, and strengthen economies. The inspiration generated by space missions motivates people to pursue knowledge and innovation, and the perspective gained from studying the universe reminds us how valuable our planet truly is. In difficult times, exploration can also provide something powerful: hope.
Hope that humanity can still achieve great things. Hope that cooperation between nations can lead to incredible accomplishments. Hope that curiosity and creativity will continue to push us forward. Because even in the darkest moments of history, humans have never stopped exploring. We've always looked up at the night sky and wondered what lies beyond. That curiosity is part of what makes us human. And perhaps the most remarkable thing about space exploration is that it represents the best of humanity. It requires cooperation between countries, scientists, engineers, and institutions around the world. It demands creativity, patience, and determination. It challenges us to think bigger than our immediate problems, and it reminds us that the story of humanity is still being written. So when someone asks whether space exploration is worth it, the answer isn't just about rockets, satellites, or distant planets. It's about what kind of future we want to build, a future where we continue to learn, continue to innovate, continue to explore. Because solving the problems of today doesn't mean we have to stop dreaming about tomorrow. We can care for our planet while still reaching for the stars. We can confront our challenges while still pursuing discovery. And sometimes the act of exploring the universe helps us understand something very important, that this small blue planet, our home, is worth protecting, and that the journey of discovery we've only just begun might one day transform how we see ourselves and our place in the cosmos forever.